Hey guys, okay, so this video is a comparison really with just two sunscreens. It's not like super comprehensive like my argan oil thing where I did like a whole bunch of different brands, but and the reason being is I only used one sunscreen ever. I'm saying probably about 10 years ago, 8, 10, somewhere in there, long time ago, when I realized, oh my god, they were totally right. The sunscreen thing is paramount. Like, it's an essential. I have to start protecting my skin. I was starting to see hyperpigmentation, and I was like, better to prevent them than to try and later on reverse them, because it's virtually impossible. There's a whole video on it on the channel. It's called Hyperpigmentation. I go into the whole shebangy. So I'm not going to bore you again with that here. But I was really lucky because I started on CE Ferulic, Skinceuticals, CE Ferulic. There's also a video on that, so I won't go into that. But it is my miracle. Miracle. Hello, the one product I can't live without. If I just had one product, that would be it. Okay, so anyways, I digress. Where was I? Right. So I decided to try the Skinceuticals sunscreen, and I loved it so much that I never bothered even trying any other ones. Same with like the Skinceuticals CE Ferulic. It was like, you know what? I don't really need to try anything. Like, when you find something that is that amazing, where you see results like this on my skin. You know, everyone is different. There's many of you that have written to me, emailed me, and have said, oh my god, you're totally right, my skin was glowing. And then there's a few, I would say maybe 5%. There's only been one person in all the years that that video has been up that just said, you crockett. And I was like, sorry, what can I say? I feel really bad, but like with all things, you know, these are just suggestions, and I'm only sharing what it does with my skin, and hopefully it will do the same with yours. And I would say that the majority of you have also seen the same results, so thank God for that. But there's always going to be a few that it's like, yeah, it didn't do anything, or when I say what it's done, maybe they have a different expectation of what it, you know what, let's not even get into that. Anyways, okay, so this is the little puppy that I've used for like a decade and never strayed away from. I've always said, if you do not like thick creams, you're gonna hate this, because it's a very thick, I mean, it's like, can you see that? I mean, it's coming up in the shape of that little hole. Like, it's not like, it's like gonna stay like that. It's stiff. Ooh, let's see how far. Yeah, anyways, there you go. So it's very thick, and if you don't like that kind of thick heaviness, obviously you're really gonna dislike this. So this is what I've been using. I use it under, you know, I just feel like my foundation, I mean, I'm so crazy that I use oils and this, and then put a foundation on top. My skin can take it. It's super dry. It's super dehydrated. You know, that's what I'm wearing right now. So it definitely can take it. I don't usually tend to wear powder on top of anything. I like kind of keeping, because my skin is dry, I don't really want to powder it down. And as you get older, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of some sort of glowy kind of effect. So this has always worked for me. Now, Lisa Eldridge always talks about LaRoche Posay, different French pharmacies. Every time she goes to France, she's always hitting up the pharmacies and collecting all of these goodies. And luckily, we here in Canada have access to almost every product she's ever mentioned in her French pharmacy video. Like, actually every single one we have at a London Drugs or a Shoppers Drug Mart. So we've been very lucky. I don't know if our counterparts in the States are as lucky. Maybe they need to hunt it down a little bit more. But for us, I can just hop into any London Drugs, and they have all of the different French pharmacy lines. So she really loves LaRoche Posay. She's spoken about it many times, whether it's a body cream, a face cream, a sunscreen, all sorts of stuff. So when I was in London Drugs recently, I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just try a different sunscreen just to see. And I happened to see one that was an SPF 60, and it's a melt-in cream. Now, as soon as it said melt-in cream, I was like, hey, bomb diggity, I like the sound of that. Cream melting in. I mean, all of that sounds great. It's also a very, very, can you even see it? It's white. A very thick formulation. Oh, that's going a little flaccid on me there. So it's also quite thick. They had a much thinner version. That's their best seller. This one doesn't sell as well, I guess, because people don't tend to like super thick creams in the summertime. So I bought this, and I wouldn't repurchase this. So for the comparison, I will always stick with this. I mean, there's not even any point in trying. I mean, I may try it once in a while, just dabble in curiosity, but this is my gold standard. I freaking love it. It's amazing. It looks great under your makeup. It protects you. It just blends like a dream. And I hate to name drop, but I think JLo said that this is her favorite as well. The Skinceuticals sunscreens. I don't know which one. This is the Ultimate Defense. That's the one that I have in SPF 30. Now, why don't I like this one? It actually went on really beautifully. I like the consistency of it. It was comparable to the Skinceuticals. There really isn't a fragrance, so that's not really going to bother you. I was like, okay, this is good, and I can just pick that up at a drugstore, whereas I can't pick this up at a drugstore. I think that there's maybe a 15 to 18, something like that, difference in price. So if you can get something for less, why not? Oops. But here's my problem with it. I don't know if you can see it. There is so much reflection off of this. It literally, and it's not like an oil type of reflection. It's like an iridescence that will not stop. So when I put that on my face, and I would put on my makeup, I would put on all sorts of, like the whole shebangy, I would look in the mirror and I would just look greasy. Whereas with this, I just looked dewy almost, dewy and kind of glowy. Whereas with this, because it's like a reflective particle in the maybe it's the Mexoryl. It's got this Mexoryl ingredient, which this does not. I don't know what it was, but it really has this iridescent, I don't know if you can, oh, you know what, you can't even see it, maybe a little bit. It has this iridescence that just won't go away. I mean, it's there for good. I tried dabbing it, blotting it, doing all sorts of things with it. I tried to do a little bit of powder just in the T-zone. It would work for a little bit, but then, the iridescence would come back. So I just felt like a greasy, iridescent, shiny mess. And nobody likes that. I mean, that's not sexy, right? So I would say that it's a bit of a for me with this one. I would never repurchase this just for that iridescent factor. Everything else was totally fine. I like the price. I like the texture. I liked the consistency of it. What else? It did melt in. I mean, it felt quite nice, but it was just this reflective iridescent thing. I don't know if it's on a lot of different sunscreens. Maybe I'm just lucky that this doesn't have that. It's certainly creamy. It certainly makes your skin look a little bit shiny or glowy, but then as soon as I put on my makeup, all of that sort of just, you don't see the sunscreen. You don't see any of it. You just see the makeup, whereas this, it's so noticeable underneath your makeup. So anyways, for those of you who did ask for an update, I would say, yeah, not so much with that. So hopefully you guys didn't run out and buy it. Or if you did, share with me if you see this sort of iridescent thing, or what your experience is with it. Do you like it? I mean, again, it's different strokes for different folks. So if you do love it, I'm so happy and thrilled, because if you did run out buying it because I bought it, then I'm so glad you love it. Pretty please. Okay, so anyways, I hope you found that helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.